This is a crazy last minute video. Vroom just announced that they're going to be ceasing all operations as of today. I just got a notification literally about an hour and a half ago. I had to run home real quick and make a video. So this is something that's very important that everybody needs to know about, not only from where e-commerce and selling cars online is going, but also what are the laws that are going to protect you if you purchase a car from these guys and if you are financing through them. So if you're new to my channel, I've been talking for years about you cannot buy and sell used cars online or 100% automated. It's just not possible. Just like when Zillow tried to buy houses automatically and automated, they winded up losing millions of dollars. And the same thing here with Vroom. It's very hard to tell the condition or quality of a vehicle when you're purchasing it online. And unfortunately, people like Vroom and Carvana and CarMax buying the stuff automated really found out the hard way. Now, we've talked about Vroom at length on this channel about all the things on why they were going to fail, but they also did a lot of things that were good. And I'm actually surprised that Vroom went out before Carvana did. Now, Vroom did something that was kind of unique. Now, everybody was talking about selling cars online and everything else, but Vroom was the only company that actually reached out to auction houses across the United States and said, you know what, we don't want to have a dealer footprint because it's a lot of money. We just want to run everything virtually. So we're going to go ahead and park these cars at your auction, and then when we sell them, we're going to sell them to you first. We're going to buy them from you. We're going to do all this good stuff. Now, I thought that was ingenious back in the day. It was a great way to get them started in the business. That's how they're able to grow so quickly. They just had to buy cars in every single state and just let them sit there at the auction, and then whenever you decided to purchase them, they would send you the documentation, and then you would sign it, and then they would just basically bring your car to you. Now, through the years, I'll leave a bunch of links around here that people were complaining about buying cars that were subpar, they were damaged. Vroom was believing a lot of the stuff what Manheim Auto Auction was telling them when they purchased cars. And unfortunately, it came under a lot of scrutiny. They said they were clean cars, no issues. People got them, they were leaking, everything else. They trusted the Manheim facilities to actually inspect and check these vehicles. And unfortunately, Vroom found out very, very quickly that you cannot trust a third party that's in charge of buying and selling your cars and making money off you for both ways to be honest and truthful. So they wound up hitting so many issues. That was the first hurdle in the road. Second one is really bad documentation. When it came to them processing paperwork, they were absolutely horrific, just like Carvana. People were driving around with cars that were 2 to 3 years old during the pandemic with no license plates, no registrations, still on temp tags, and they were reissuing them. They've got basically fined by multiple states, multiple DMVs, and they've basically just been burning money ever since. Now, unfortunately, this online craze hit at the right time where investors were giving these guys millions, if not billions of dollars to get their projects started. And Vroom was one of the first ones that basically picked up the mantle and started running with it. Now, like I said, originally I thought these guys were going to outlast Carvana because they were so smart in actually lowering their overhead and trying to shrink their footprint as small as possible so they can lower their amounts. Also, they were constantly trying to do something new, but unfortunately, it came too late. As of January 22nd, Vroom is no longer selling cars. So I'm going to grab my laptop here and kind of talk about what's going on. We've announced that January 22nd, 2024, Vroom has halted all purchases and sales of used cars. So once again, they're not going to be buying or selling any cars. We are going to be discontinuing Vroom's e-commerce operations and winding down our used vehicle dealership business. It is an honor to serve you, all of our car buyers, and selling all over the country. Our subsidiaries, United Auto Credit and Car Story, will continue to serve their customers' focuses, growing those businesses forward. So that's a good thing. If you have a financed vehicle with these guys, I'm sure you can reach out to them and find out, some information. This is on Vroom's website. The second you type in Vroom, no cars come up for sale, just a big red screen with this letters in it. Now, I'm sure a lot of my regulars watching this probably think that I'm excited or happy at this news, but I'm not. I hate to see any business close its doors. The main reason why is because hundreds, if not thousands of people are going to be losing their jobs. Now, I said from day one, you cannot buy and sell cars online. It's just not possible. Too many moving parts. It's too hard to get some sort of a system or matrix to rate cars. So that's why it never works. And unfortunately, they found out the hard way. Now, I believe that the fact that they made this announcement and they're winding down the way they are is they're doing it correctly. Now, don't get me wrong. I know they're being sued by a bunch of people, but there wasn't like this big thing where they just showed up. There's padlocks everywhere. There's this big, people screaming fraud and all that other stuff. Like, it looks like they're winding down on all appearances' sake just to basically close out the business and slowly get rid of everything, which is good. That's the way you're supposed to do it. I think when Carvana finally goes, it's going to be a lot of fraud, BS. People are going to be screaming, lots of all kinds of crazy stuff because Vroom had debt, but not bone-crushing debt. Carvana has bone-crushing world debt. So I don't even know how they're still around. They're burning their candle on both ends. Their cost of doing business every single month is just eating up all their capital. So they can only sell so many dealerships and sell so much of their inventory to try to keep ahead. And they're still not even making money on their vehicles that they're selling. But, you know, we kind of saw this writing on the wall, unfortunately. We knew that something like this was going to come to pass. Now, what is the future of car sales going forward? I know that's a big question for everybody. Everybody thinks that online was going to take all the headache and get rid of all the shady dealers and all the bad stuff. Now, I'm sure a lot of you guys thought that the future of buying used cars was going to be online with companies like Vroom and Carvana, but it's not ever going to be that way. Purchasing a used car is stressful. It's a headache. You got to go there, look at the car in person to make sure. But also I tell people there's an emotional aspect of buying a used car that you can't get online. And this is where people fall in love with their cars. How many times online do you see people like, I bought the car because it was the best and cheapest and whatever else. But then when they drove it, they said they didn't like it. They didn't get that feeling. There is some points of buying a car emotional that people can't explain via online. So that's why I always tell people you got to get in and drive it. If you've looked, and this is an actual sales trick, most car dealerships want you to get into a car and feel some type of emotion about it so you can buy it. And that's what hooks you to the car. That's what makes you happy, where even though you paid maybe $20 more a month, you got the car that you liked and you loved, that you were happy. So that's why I tell most people you want to always go in person and don't drive one car, drive multiple cars, go to multiple dealerships before you pull the trigger, because you need to get that emotion out of you and see which car basically kind of calls your name. Now, Vroom shutting down is going to be a good thing and a bad thing for the car industry going forward. The bad stuff, this is basically just telling us what's going to be happening for 2024 and 2025. I think we made a bet last time. It was like August of 2024 when we thought Carvana would be running out of their money because they're basically burning through it. So we're going to look forward to that date. You can mark it on this video if you want to watch. But then also it's letting us know that now the market's slowing down. We're seeing companies like this go out. Dealers themselves need to be realistic with their prices. They need to say, you know what, we're charging way too much money for the cars. Let's just lower the prices and get these things out of here, because guess what? Not only did Hertz drop 18,000 or I think it was 20,000 Teslas into the used car market, now we're going to have all of the cars that came from Vroom are going to be putting in through the auctions as well, and they're all going to be at Manheim. So you're going to see all these new cars flooding into the market with the cars that are not selling, with the trade-ins that are not selling, people that are basically giving up their cars and repos that are coming in there. The supply is going to be overwhelming. You can watch the steady decline of prices going forward. So hopefully these dealers take heed and see what happens to Vroom, and they realize that they need to lower their prices and be aggressive and get rid of these cars, because if not, they're going to be a proud dealer group sitting on a bunch of overpriced, aged inventory that's basically going to force them into bankruptcy. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Please in the comment section put below if you bought from Vroom, what are your thoughts and feelings? Do you have a good relationship with them and a good transaction? Did you have a horrible one? Did you recently buy a car? Also, what do you guys think of Carvana? Do you think they're going to be the next one to fail? Or are they going to stay around and probably make it to 2025? Who knows? Also, if you've learned anything from this video, please like and subscribe. Once again, follow me on Instagram at Lucky Lopez, and we'll see you next video.